Kendrick Lamar just broke the internet with one verse that wasn't even supposed to drop. No rollout, no warning, just pure chaos. A minute-long snippet, and somehow it's louder than half the albums that dropped this year. This isn't just another leak. This is calculated destruction. And Kendrick, he's not easing into anything. He's swinging. Now let's break this down, because what you're about to hear might be the most lethal 60 seconds in modern hip-hop. Kendrick's Whips and Chains verse didn't just leak, it detonated. This wasn't some throwaway bar slipping through the cracks. This was a controlled explosion, a surgical strike disguised as an accident. And the second it hit the internet, everything paused. Because when Kendrick's voice comes through the noise, you stop scrolling, you turn the volume up, and this time, he didn't ease in. No beat buildup, no warm-up. He jumped straight into war mode. I'm not the candidate to vibe with. And just like that, the peace talk era was over. No kumbaya, no treaties, no hugging it out. Kendrick is declaring loudly that he's done playing safe. And this isn't just about rap. This is about control, about energy, about taking the conversation back without dropping a full track. And the wildest part? It's only a snippet, 60 seconds of chaos, enough to rattle the entire culture. That's not a leak, that's a flex, a signal, a shot across the bow. And just when you think that's the headline, Kendrick flips the narrative again. And just when you think Kendrick is done proving a point, he goes deeper. He flips the temperature again. This time, it's personal. He rips through the beat with surgical calm. All that talent must be God-sent. I send your ass back to the cosmics. That line? That's not just clever. That's Kendrick reminding you he sees the game from a completely different dimension. He's not rhyming just to rhyme. He's playing with layers, spiritual shots, cosmic bars. And then out of nowhere, he drops the real nuke. Let's be clear, hip-hop died again. Bro, stop right there. What kind of artist says that in a leak? He's not just rapping, he's diagnosing the culture. He's not whining, he's eulogizing. And then he follows it with half of my profits go to Rakim. That's legacy talk. That's a bar coded in respect and critique at the same time. Kendrick isn't saying hip-hop is bad, he's saying it's hollow and he's done pretending it's not. And if that wasn't enough tension, he throws in one more question mark that has the whole fan base buzzing. And that question mark? Yeah, it's how many let me down. That's the moment everything shifts. Because now we're not just talking about hip-hop as a whole. Kendrick is pointing fingers, quietly, strategically, and the silence between those bars says more than the words themselves. Who let him down? Snoop? Cole? Both? It fits. The Snoop tension? That's been public. The J. Cole distance? That's been felt. Kendrick doesn't name names, he never does. But when he asks that question in the middle of a cultural funeral, it hits different. Especially after Cole's retreat from the rap battle. Especially after years of top 3 peacekeeping. Kendrick's not just saying they disappointed him. He's saying they disappointed the mission, and the way he delivers it, calm, almost bored, makes it even colder. No drama, no shout, just a quiet bullet sliding across the floor. It's brilliant, it's brutal, and it proves Kendrick's pen doesn't just entertain, it interrogates. It doesn't diss for clout, it demands accountability. And before you can even breathe, Kendrick pivots again and taps into something even deeper than betrayal. If you're feeling the breakdown so far, hit that subscribe button. Let's get to 1,000 and keep this energy going. Now, let's talk about the line that completely shifted the tone of the verse. It takes us straight into Kendrick's mind, raw, unfiltered, and cracked wide open. Therapy showed me I can open up, he says. But then he flips it instantly. It also taught me I don't give a f***. That contradiction? That's the soul of Kendrick's power. He's vulnerable, but weaponized. He lets you in, only to remind you that being soft doesn't mean he's soft. He sounds like Pac here, not just in voice, but in conviction. Like someone who's been through fire and came out choosing silence over sympathy. And that's what separates Kendrick from everyone else right now. While the industry plays with emotions for streams, Kendrick shows you real trauma, then dares you to look away. It's not just introspective, it's defiant. Because this isn't vulnerability for applause, it's control. He tells you he's not okay, but also that he'll burn the world down if he has to. And before the dust settles, he drops one of the most intricate, layered, and lyrically insane sequences we've heard in years. Wordplay so dense, it feels like a full album packed into 4 bars. and then the pen just erupts. Kendrick enters his Gemini spiral, and what he does with that one word, unreal. The two-time Gemini with the genocide. I'm generous. I'll be the gentle kind. It's not just clever, it's a masterclass in linguistic domination. He doesn't just rhyme, he mutates language, flipping Gemini into genocide, then gentleman, then gentrified, then general, and it still makes sense. That's the part people miss. These aren't just bars to sound pretty, they're hitting nerves. He's talking duality, he's talking war and peace in the same breath. One line, he's the gentle kind. The next, he's clearing out the industry like gentrification. And then, boom, I drop your pentagon and show up at your gender reveal. What? That's not just a punchline. That's disrespect in poetry form. He's saying, I'll expose your whole brand, then show up to your celebration and take credit. It's hostile, it's playful, it's surgical. Nobody else in the game is stacking triple entendres this clean. And just when you think you've caught up with him, Kendrick accelerates again. The pace gets faster, the wordplay sharper, and suddenly, he's not just rapping anymore, he's preaching. And just like that, Kendrick shifts from clever to spiritual. The bars don't just rhyme, they start to feel like scripture. Every song is the book of Genesis, he says. And now we're in a different dimension. He's not just writing music, he's documenting prophecy. The word Genesis hits hard here because it's layered. He's talking beginnings, yes, but also legacy, foundation, origin. He's putting himself at the starting line of a new era, one where truth, pain, and purpose lead the way. Then he keeps stacking. Where's my gin and juice? Here's the ginger root. I generate residuals. Get off my genitals. It sounds wild, but it's laser precise. He's bending language, culture, and commerce into one chaotic sermon, and it's not just to flex, it's to separate himself. Because at this point, it's not about who's rapping better, it's about who's even thinking like this. Kendrick's not trying to top charts, he's trying to burn down the criteria. And what's even crazier, he's doing this in a snippet, 60 seconds of soul, smoke, and scripture, and yet somehow he still finds a way to throw one last twist into the fire. And that final twist? It's pure Kendrick chaos. Controlled, intentional, devastating. He hits with, they said I couldn't reach Z, their genetics being synthetic. They think they genius. And just like that, he's naming the unnameable. The industry fakes. The artificial clout chasers. The ones playing dress up with greatness while Kendrick's out here bleeding for every bar. One finger wave to y'all fall. It's cold, dismissive, and deadly accurate. Because while others are out here begging algorithms for attention, Kendrick's using a leaked snippet to rewrite the entire conversation. That Z line, it's surgical. It could be about Jay-Z, could be about Gen Z, could be both. That's Kendrick, always doubling the meaning, never spelling it out. And then he hits them with the knockout. They think they Jenga. Now we're talking imitation, mockery, ego versus essence. He's not just separating himself, he's laughing at the copycats who thought bars were just about rhyme schemes. Kendrick makes it look easy, but what he's doing here, this is high-level weaponry. He's flipping expectations, clowning the clout game, and baptizing the booth, all in under a minute. And now, the pressure's not just on the industry, it's on us to catch up. And that's where it gets real, because Kendrick's not just challenging the rappers, he's challenging the listeners. This verse isn't meant to be casually streamed, it's a test, a filter, a call to wake up. Every metaphor, every twist, every flip on Jen, it's not just for shock value. It's layered messaging, crafted to expose the gap between fast food rap and food for thought lyricism. Kendrick doesn't just want attention, he wants accountability. He's holding a mirror to the culture and asking, do y'all even hear yourselves anymore? Because while some artists are chasing trends, Kendrick's chasing time, legacy, depth. He's not posting IG snippets for clout. He's leaking precision weaponry just to remind the world he's watching everything. And the scariest part? He's not even fully engaged yet. If this is what slips through the cracks, imagine what he's actually sitting on. You can feel it. This isn't just a return, it's a reawakening. Kendrick doesn't want to fit back into the game. He wants to break the game open. And as the dust settles on this snippet, one question hangs heavy in the air. What happens when the full verse drops? And that's the wildest part. This wasn't even the full verse. Just a minute, just a taste, and yet it already feels heavier than most albums. That alone tells you how far ahead Kendrick is. While everyone else needs a rollout, a feature list, a TikTok trend, Kendrick drops a leaked snippet and hijacks the conversation. No announcement, no visuals, just words, pure bars, and they land like missiles. The fact that this fragment sparks so many theories, so much decoding, it proves Kendrick still holds the cultural leash. He doesn't need to explain himself. We do that for him, and that's what separates him. He moves in silence, but his words scream louder than any headline. This verse wasn't just lyrical exercise, it was strategic dominance, a reminder, a signal that the throne is still his whenever he decides to sit down. And what's even more dangerous, he hasn't responded to anything, not directly, not publicly. He's letting the pen talk, and the silence around it makes the impact louder. This wasn't an accident, it was a warning shot, and if this is Kendrick warming up, the rap world better brace for what's next. And now that the smoke's cleared, one thing is obvious. Kendrick didn't just leak a verse, he lit a fuse. The entire industry's energy has shifted. Fans are dissecting every bar, artists are staying quiet, and the silence from the big three suddenly feels a lot louder. Because this wasn't just Kendrick showing off, this was Kendrick reclaiming space. Without an album, without a rollout, without even saying a name, and yet, everyone felt it. That's power, that's presence. That's the difference between being hot and being him. You can't manufacture this level of control. You earn it over time through silence, through pain, through precision. And Kendrick's been quiet for months, but not idle. He's been watching, calculating, writing, and now with just 60 seconds, he's reminded everyone he's still the standard, still the threat, still the one they all measure against, whether they admit it or not. So the question isn't what's next for Kendrick. The real question is, who dares to answer? Who has the pen ready? Because if this was a warning, the war might already be here. So now the mic is in your hands. What do you think Kendrick was really saying in this verse? Was this a warning to J. Cole, a message to the industry, or just Kendrick reminding us he still holds the crown without even trying? Drop your take in the comments. I want to hear from everybody. And if you made it this far, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications because we break these moments down bar for bar. No fluff, no filter. And if you're new here or missed the last few drops, go check out my other videos, especially if you're deep in this Kendrick versus the industry era. There's more heat waiting. Click over and catch up.